Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
"90 Days in Malacatos."
Takes 90 days to figure out a lot of things, so it's been 90 days in Malacatos, and this is what we found out so far.
If you're wondering if we're bored yet, we're not. We love it here. We're in kind of a strange sabbatical hermitage situation. And I don't think either of us think we'll live here forever. And we can't because, like we mentioned before, the house is for sale. But we are enjoying every moment of it while it's happening. We've been reflecting on Cuenca, our time in Cuenca versus our time in Malacatos. And there's a lot of wanting to live in the areas of Cuenca if you do pick a major city that are convenient. Like you want to live along the Tranvia line. You want to live in Centro where you can access everything easily. But how you feel where you are is so much more important. Like if you need a view and you take a ground floor apartment, you're going to be miserable, even though the Tranvia might be right out your doorstep.
Ding, 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 making all its noise and everything else.
Or if you need to be on the outskirts, like Matt had you ever lived in an apartment before?
No.
I had. I spent most of my 20s in apartments and I freaking hated it then. And I don't know why I thought that would be different.
No, we tried it,
it's
still an experiment. So you try these things and see what works, and when it doesn't, give yourself the freedom to change and find something else that may work better.
Right. So if you have any pressure on, I want to land and I want to be in my forever spot, I think we know one couple that happened to. And everybody we've talked to in Cuenca. They took a place, they haven't moved, they loved it. But that's probably not going to be, and don't think, I signed this lease, I can't break it. You can.
Yeah, you can break.
We know these things. You just lose your month deposit.
Right. Plus it's Ecuador. You may not want to stay here, period. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion, but just comparing Malacatos to Cuenca, we're definitely still very smitten with Malacatos and happy to have moved here.
Yeah, we're a 5-10 minute bike ride or motorcycle ride into Malacatos where we can pick up groceries and go to the market and eat at a few restaurants. And then when we really want to venture out for variety, we ride into Vilcabamba.
Or Loja. We do take the bus into Loja or ride with friends that have a car into Loja. So there's options. We're not so far removed that it's half a day journey to get to any kind of development. So we're not that far out. One thing that we've noticed here too is that, and this is more here than in Cuenca, I think for me, is there's a lot of area. It doesn't take long to get off of pavement down south in Ecuador, and I know in other parts of Ecuador that we saw it was very easy to get onto dirt roads off of pavement. So where we are in Malacatos, it's all paved to where we live, which is a very, very nice, easy thing, and it's a big consideration for me now to not be on so much unpaved road, because even the places we visited and done a little bit of exploring and some things that we've rode in the moto to in Vilcabamba, you can get off pavement quick and be on some seriously rougher, bouncier, very potholy roads. So,
and when you're newly riding motorcycles, that can be challenging.
It's an adventure. We haven't dumped it on those roads, but it's an adventure. But I think it's a little less bouncy, or the bounces are a little easier. Like if you're in one of those mixto taxi trucks, I think you get bounced around way more than we do on the moto. But
yeah, I've noticed because we've been using the motorcycle more to get to and from. We took Lucas with us yesterday, so we took a mixto into Vilcabamba, and I was getting car sick, and that's just something that doesn't happen when we're on the motorcycle.
Well, since part of moving to Malacatos, of course, was for us to focus and to be more disciplined in work and time spent in work, which has worked out fantastically, I think, so far. I've had no trouble, spending 5 to 8 hours a day purposefully working on the things that I'm doing right now.
I'm finally working again. Like things are moving. I didn't get anything done in Cuenca, and in 3 months' time, over the last several weeks, I've kind of turned my life's work, the tools that I use in practice with clients and patients, into something they can do for themselves online. And I mean, that's something I've wanted to do for years and hadn't been able to do it, and was really able to make progress there. So I'm kind of in celebration mode regarding that.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. The weather right where we are is definitely a little bit drier. It seems like there's a lot more rain that happens more often surrounding us, but right where we are is kind of dry, but not like too dry as of yet. I mean, we are just coming kind of out of the rainy season, supposedly, so. But the weather here, I think, has been pretty ideal. I was kind of worried it was going to be too warm down here, and I have not found it to be that way. Now, in the middle of the day, of course, if you're right out in the sun and it's full sun day, it's a little too hot. But as soon as you get in the shade, you catch a breeze. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. We do have bugs, though. There are mosquitoes. There are little, flying bugs and different things like that we have to contend with that we didn't have in Cuenca. But
you get used to it. That was definitely something we loved about Cuenca, not having bugs. And we were sad to give that up. But, I mean, it's not, you just get used to it. It's not that big of a deal, really.
And most of the world has bugs. It's just a reality. But there are bugs.
But no matter what, you're not going to be like deep south heat here.
No, we haven't experienced that at least.
You might get a taste of it, like a day or two, but...
And it's not super high humidity.
No, I wish the humidity were a little higher, honestly.
But I think around us there probably is some higher humidity, but it just exactly, the kind of microclimate thing that you hear about here is definitely a drier little area.
I guess health-wise overall, we just feel really good here. Lucas is happy. We throw 1 million tennis balls for him a day down our steep yard, and we are not getting as much exercise as we were in Cuenca.
We did get more steps in Cuenca just by default because we had to. Well, we didn't have a moto, but just getting around, walking around, and going to places in Cuenca to shop or whatever, we definitely got more steps in.
Yeah.
Kate has been playing some tennis here and there in Vilcabamba. They do have a nice clay tennis court in a interesting neighborhood.
Yeah, if we do move, I wouldn't mind getting in that neighborhood.
Our neighborhood's still been really quiet for the most part. We did have the noisiest night we had Saturday night right before Easter. That was the loudest party that we've experienced here.
Which was kind of funny, like Easter Eve, really?
That's the time to throw a rager.
And even it was done by like midnight, so
yeah.
No big deal. And we were just listening to the terrible karaoke. It was kind of entertaining.
That was kind of funny. And we still, it's still nice to not have neighbors like right next door. This has been very nice. Sorry to all our neighbors that we had. We don't miss you.
I'm not sorry. I wish you well.
Yeah, I wish you well in your high densityness. I guess we need to probably show you what our view is here too at some point, so here's our view. This is what we get to look at from this end of the house. And if you're wondering where Lucas was, he was taking a little nap. Who's taking a little nap? Lucas is our guard dog. So we don't really know what we're doing in general with a lot of other things, and we're not trying to be some kind of heavy-duty YouTubers, obviously, and we're just.
I know you're shocked.
We're just sharing our experience, and for what our lifestyle and what it kind of means to us as younger, kind of expats moving into Ecuador, because it's a different jam.
Yeah, if you're coming down to retire and do lunch, then you would not like where we live.
And I think too, it's different if you're a couple compared to being a single person. Like if you're living in a more remote-ish place, it would be a little harder. Unless you're just really a hermit type of person, you could do it.
Right.
Malacatos. I still like the idea of calling it bad cat. If that was I know that's not the real translation, but if we could just pretend that that's what it means, that's pretty funny.
And if you drive through and you love having your picture taken at the city sign in the Central Park, there's not one here.
We don't have a sign.
It's like the only Pueblo city that doesn't have a sign. What's up with that, Malacatos?
And this is a tiny little town. It's a tiny little spot. But it has a big enough footprint and a square and a nice enough Sunday market. There could be a sign.
We've been to smaller places
that
have signs.
Yeah, but kind of is what it is. But overall, I guess just as a recap, Southern Ecuador is treating us quite fine. We're very happy here, and the experiment continues. Looking forward to see what happens next and see what the rest of this year dishes out to us.
Flynns on the fly out.
Whoop, 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 whoop.